guys, we have some new faces on this live. Today we've got Parker Dixon and we've got Ryan Hoff. These guys are still in there knocking gear as well. You guys just finished on the doors, 8 deals, 400K. How's the day today, boys? Welcome.
Busy, long. Didn't get enough sleep the night before, but it's good, man.
And you guys are out on the blitz as well, right?
Yeah. We're blitzing right now. We are a small team of like 15 guys.
Crazy. So, all right, guys. So, Natural Energy. It's the name that hasn't really made it out of Arkansas right now, but you guys are absolutely crushing it. If people knew the amount of work that you guys are putting in, the type of results that you guys are getting, then it's a name that people should actually know. But for the audience members, for everyone that's inside Sales Talk and Solar Pros, tell us who you are and why your company matters, why people should know more about Natural Energy.
Yeah, so I guess the only thing I really have to say, I guess is my experience. I mean, I was in the door-to-door pest control industry. I was at a really good company. They're really clean, honest operations. And then I got into the solar space, and I think it's fair to say that if you don't know what to look for, you can get hit by surprise, and I definitely did. I was having
what type of surprises? As in like good surprises or bad surprises?
I'd say pretty bad. My first, 2.5 months, my team did like $6.5 million. I'd earned like $500,000 in commissions, and I got paid like less than half. And so, couldn't get operations on the phone. Bad install quality. People are getting installed, and like half their house of electrical was going out. It was a big issue. And then, my family, they own a commercial contractor in Arkansas. It's the largest woman-owned in the state. And so we're typically doing like 10, 20, 30, $40 million commercial projects, schools, like we built the state police headquarters, buildings like that.
And this is your family. This is what you grew up with, an entrepreneur family that has a business. Yeah.
Yeah. And so honestly, I was just really blessed and grateful. I was, in the process of everything. I was working down in Florida. And my family, they flew down, their head of construction, they shadowed me, figured out like, hey, this is a lot like Legos compared to the type of construction work we're used to. And we came back to Arkansas. We launched an in-house operation. We were able to maintain like first year with over 100 jobs a month coming in pretty much out the gate. We were able to maintain like 45, 60-day install timelines. And then this past year, they actually have decent operational capacity. They knew exactly what was going on. They forecasted better. We were able to maintain like 30, 45-day install timelines with 100 a month coming in. And so, but the important thing isn't just like, install timelines. I think it's like PTOing, and that's like a really big thing because banks don't fund the same. And it's like now all of a sudden you start hearing in the solar world how like, oh, I didn't get paid on install. Well, that never happened when I got into the industry. Yeah, banks used to release funding like right out the gate, right? Like you put glass on the roof, doesn't matter if it's turning on or it's failing inspection or anything, you're getting paid. Out. Yeah, and so now you're seeing a situation in the industry where banks don't pay it all anymore. And so if the company can't turn it on, they're making a decision of, do I save my company or do I pay out the sales rep? And the idea is typically to save the company, right? So reps just aren't getting paid, which is a shame. But.
And I think let's tell the story of how we met as well, because you just finished up like a 1-week trip down in Medellin, Colombia. That's where most people know me from, like, the guy in Medellin selling solar over the phone. You reached out over Instagram about like a month and a half ago. And you were like, hey man, I'm coming down to Medellin. Let's catch up. I'm like, I love it when like people from the solar industry, they come down here because it gives me the opportunity to show you guys around, where I've been living for a while. And you rented, dude, like the biggest mansion here in Medellin, which I can literally see from like, from my window. I'm pretty sure it's the one like up on the hill. Why Medellin? How'd you guys choose it? Because you guys had just finished up like a end of summer as well, right?
Yeah. We just finished up summer. We were doing our leadership development program in Vegas. And then me and one of my guys, we just got another close. Nice. Me and one of my guys, we were just like in Miami, and we were like, well, where can we go? It's cheap after this. And we're like, okay, Medellin, the flight's $100. So we checked it out.
Was that return?
Yeah, just the one way, right? So We were like, dude, this is so cheap. And then we looked at like the cost of housing. We were like, it's like $50 a night for some of these places. And so we're like, okay, well, what can
some
we get for
places
a normal
even
price?
less, man.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like for a normal price, you're like, holy crap, we can get this. So we're just like, yep, we're going. And so it was a sick time. It was really fun.
Legit, man. Like the place you guys stayed would be like a $20 million place in the LA Hills.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how baller it was.
Yeah. It was sick.
Crazy, man. So we hit it off, man. Like we went out to Mamba Negra, which was at a restaurant and on the top of like 30th floor or something, which was like full VIP. It was awesome. Then you guys went to Guatapé the next day. Yeah. I'm surprised awesome. You guys actually made it out to Guatapé.
Yeah, apparently you're not supposed to fall asleep in the taxis out there, but
nah. Definitely. I forgot to tell you guys that. Don't fall asleep in the taxi because you'll end up like without a kidney or with no teeth or something like that. No, you guys are good. I vetted this guy pretty well. But yeah, back to solar. So you're 24 years old. You're running an installation company, so it's fully integrated. So you guys do the install yourselves. Plus you maintain like an elite sales team, like high performance guys with the blitz model during the summer, right?
Summer we go full time. Every day of the week except for Sundays. Off season we do blitz models, which is basically get an Airbnb like the one here. Everyone's in the same place. 10 a.m. meeting. Don't come back till it's dark. If you're found here during daylight, you're gone. That's basically the mentality.
The Airbnb is just for decoration. Like just go in there, sleep, and then leave.
Yeah,
I saw a Terminator 2 pinball machine in there. I bet no one's used it just yet.
We got something like that. I don't know.
We got a bunch of stuff going on over here.
So, and today we're going to be talking about advanced closing strategies. And I think it's really awesome that, the very first episode you've brought on Ryan. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Ryan? Tell us who you are.
Yeah, well, my name's Ryan Hoff. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania originally. I got into the solar industry about 3.5 years ago. I was working for Parker down in Tampa, Florida, as a setter. Got into the industry and ran into the same exact problems as Parker did. We weren't getting installs whatsoever. So actually at the end of my first summer, I asked the owners of the company that I was working for originally for half of my money if they just pay me out. I was like, these things aren't going up, just pay me out. And so I took the money, half of it, and I started working for 2 different installers in the Tampa, Florida area, developing like the self-genning skill set. It took me a long time to transition from setting to being an elite self-genner and actually getting deals to stick. And I told Parker, whenever you've got it built, give me a call.
He wouldn't come to start with.
I wouldn't come to start. I was like,
trust me.
I was like, I'm not leaving Tampa, Florida.
Oh, really? So you wouldn't follow Parker at the beginning?
At the beginning, no.
I had to show him something.
I was like, show me. I was like, just give me a call whenever it's built, whenever it's ready. And so he gave me a call one day, probably last June at the beginning of it. And he said, I'll fly you up here and just come check it out. I promise I'll take care of you. So I gave him a shot, came up, first 2 weeks in Arkansas, I had 7 self-gens, and 2 weeks went back to Tampa, Florida. I said, I'll be back when you pay me. And so I show up 2.5 weeks later to about a $30,000 paycheck. Everything installed.
And how old are you, man?
I'm 25 years old. And so I've been on the calendar for the past 2 summers. I've closed over 200 accounts. This year I've sold over 100 accounts this past summer. And then I've developed a group of guys with Parker that we're actually turning into not just summer sales guys. We are doing a year full operation. And it's been really, really, really good to see the guys develop and continuously grow. Because a lot of these guys do this for 3-4 months and, they think that's good income for the year. There are levels to this game. As everyone who does it actually knows, there are levels to it. And one of the ways to take yourself to an elite level and make another different level of income is by doing this year round. This is a grown man's job. This is a professional's job. And I think we'll be able to show you how we're maintaining high price per watts by what we do and train over at Natural Energy.
Dude, I love it, man. So I'm in the presence of a 24-year-old like boss, runs a fully integrated company. 25-year-old other boss who you did 100 accounts in 3 months. Yeah, that's nuts. And these two like achievements that you guys are doing. It's not easy, right? Like Parker, I know that you work like 24/7, bro. Like I know you probably don't even sleep, right? Because
I think I went to bed
sometimes
last night at 3, woke up at 6.
3 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. Because you've got the install side, but also the sales side. Like the sales side is, for most people, like, they get to like 6 p.m. They're on a blitz and they're like, they want to go hide in their car, man, because it's tiring, right? You're like, when am I going to get a chance to breathe? But at the same time, because I've run an installation company as well. I know you're getting messages from operations asking you to make decisions. Every decision that you make is taking up, mental space, energy, and then you've got to show up for the sales guys as well. So, to have someone like Ryan by your side, it's impressive.
Oh, dude, it's a big relief. Like, so last summer before Ryan came up, while I was trying to get him to come up, I'd closed 100 accounts by the time I called him on the year. And I was like, dude, the calendar's built. I need someone that knows how to close to take this over. And so like, I was thankfully came. Obviously it was good for him too, but I just didn't have time in the day to take the appointments anymore. I was getting
yeah.
Operations coupled with sales a lot. So
love it. So for those who are watching this live, drop your questions, comments. Unfortunately, I got restricted on Facebook from commenting, but for some reason I was allowed to comment on this live, which is really good. So guys, drop your comments, drop your questions. What do you guys want to know about Parker? What do you guys want to know about Ryan? We get literally fired up with the questions that you give us. Because we don't want to just have a conversation. We want to give you guys as much value as possible. And for those who are watching the replay later on, any questions you have about the content that's going to be coming out, because we're going to be dropping some real juice, let us know in the comments below. So Parker, the topic we're going to be talking about today is advanced closing techniques. You and Ryan, it's like, this is the advanced stuff. I know you showed me a couple of those slides that you're going to go through the workflow, how to make decisions, how to take a customer through, a journey. So I'm really excited to start going through that. What do you think? Should we start going through it now, or?
Yeah, we can get after it, man.
Let's do it, man. Let me give you sharing rights. And you guys are out of Arkansas, right? That's where you've got your physical presence.
Right in the land of Walmart, man.
What other states do you guys install in?
So right now we're in Missouri. We're actually opening up Oklahoma City into this month, and so we're going to be in those 3 states installing. So yeah, we're licensed, master electrician in all of them. Yeah. So anyways, I'll share my screen now, fella. All right.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this podcast. Now, do you want to own your first investment property in 90 days or less? I know you're thinking that this is too good to be true, but that's exactly how I started my real estate investment journey. Now, as I didn't have someone to show me what to do or how to do it, it basically came with its own levels of stress, anxiety, problems. Not to mention the delays either, because the best time to be buying real estate is yesterday. Now, all of those didn't hold me back either, because within the first 10 months, I had 18 investment properties under my belt. Thankfully, you don't need to go through the unknown to getting started. You can simply get yourself someone like myself who can help you get started in a much shorter period of time. You can get someone like yourself who's got the been there, done that experience to help you get it within a much shorter period of time with less problems. In fact, if you're looking to get started in real estate investing and want to generate passive income in as little as 30 days, I'm currently accepting 5 people into my flagship real estate investing program. Click the link below to apply and see if you'll be a good fit.
All right, this is like, I didn't really prep a PowerPoint other than what I've already done with my team. So it still has the company branding and stuff all over it. I hope it's all right.
No, I love it, man. I think the best content is the content that you use in real life rather than stuff that you've created for, like a presentation or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, I mean, this is going to be exactly how I close deals, exactly how Hoff's closing deals, the whole 9. So, yeah, I guess I'll start running through it. If you got questions, let me know. Yeah.
And I love this, how you've named it Selling High PPW, because especially now in a world with higher dealer fees, inflation, cost of material, everything going up, and installation companies having to put up, red lines and things, it's filtering out the salespeople that took orders, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah. And this industry now, it's an industry where it's really only going to be available for those who go through this type of training.
No, 100%. And it was funny because, you know, the regional manager over at Green Tech, which is our manufacturer, I was talking to him before this summer started, like right as we got our first interest rate hike, and it was like, you know, 2.49, and everyone was like freaking out, you know.
Yeah, I remember that, man. 2.49 is like shit.
Yeah, it's like, dude, bring it back.
1.9 to 2.49.
Yeah. And so, you know, I was talking to him, and I was just like, you know, man, but how do you foresee it? He's like, man, whoever can sell in this environment, you got to keep them for life. And so, I think you're seeing it a lot in the industry, though. You know, it's like, if you're not able to sell at a high price for what, well, now your guys aren't getting paid, and then B, if you're not able to, you know, close at a high rate, then your guys aren't getting paid. So,
100%, man. And just you know, before we get into it, the same thing happened in Australia. So it's not that the prices started going up, but the competition of offshore companies that were coming in from like India, China, they came in droves because they started seeing the Australian solar industry just like going nuts. So the power shifted away from the salesperson and started shifting towards the consumer because they had so much choices, right? So in order for the salesperson to continue making a decent living, you know, selling on commission only solar, like we had to be really freaking good. Like, you know, not only did you have to sell the deal, but you had to make sure, because that customer is going to get retargeted with ads later on with like prices, half the price of what we were selling at. Got to make sure that, you know, you're able to retain that deal, make sure it doesn't cancel. Brute, let's get into it, man. I'm excited.
But funny you say that, though, before I get into it. I mean, like literally just the other day I had a deal from a customer, and you know, I pitched him, quoted him, I sold him a pretty high stack, and he had one of my competitors came behind me, and they dropped it 10 grand once they saw my price, and he still went with me.
Really?
And so so it's this stuff definitely works, fellas. So I'll get into it, though. So I think one of the first things, though, when you're like selling high, it's like your mental. It's like that is the first thing before we go through any script, anything related to that. You literally just have to have the right mental, and if you don't, nothing we're about to go over will work for you. So you have to, like, main thing in Hoff, you can jump in whenever you want, but you have to understand price doesn't matter. Like literally no one cares about $35 a month. No one cares about $40 a month. If they're worried about that and they own their home, like these people have like $5,000, $6,000 a month in bills. And so if they're worried about $35, they're probably not going to be buying solar for either reason. And then Hoff, I mean, you can go into the power production asset. I know you're big on that.
Yeah. So one thing I changed up with myself personally over the past year of selling is I've learned to frame solar as a luxury product. And so I stopped saying the word panels or anything like that. I always call it a power production asset every single time.
I'm not Brad Lee, but if I was Brad Lee, I'd drop like a giant bomb, dude. That right there, we could probably just stop the live right now. That's it. Like that's enough. That's enough information to make people a lot of money.
Yeah, it really is.
Because people are used to calling it like a, what's the word? It's solar is becoming a commodity, and you've just like completely switched it around to a power production asset. I love it.
Yes, and I'm framing it as a luxury item for homeowners. Always telling people no one's worried about 30, 40, $50 a month. I more specifically like to call this a reverse cash flowing asset, because a cash flowing asset is obviously something that pays you on a monthly basis. This is going to be something that saves you money on a monthly basis and on a compound escalating rate. So those are two key terms that I use and frame throughout the presentation with the homeowner to get them into like a luxury trance. And I always frame ourselves, Natural Energy, as a vertically integrated installation company, as a luxury brand. That's something that is very, very, very important. I mean, why do people buy Louis Vuitton? Why do people buy Gucci? And why do people spend ridiculous amount of money? It's because of the brand. And so I have trained our guys, and me and Parker like took on the mindset that we are that company in the Midwest region. We are by far the best vertically integrated installation company and actually can take care of our clients through and throughout. And we wear that on our shoulder. We wear that on our chest. You know, like we show that to the homeowner every single time. And we make sure that we are not afraid to lose a deal over price.
Yeah, you can't be afraid to lose a deal if you're afraid, because you can always go lower, right? But you can't go higher. And I think like that's one of the big things that like we like start with. And like this is mentality, honestly, I got from the pest control industry. You know, I would always be selling prices that were like way higher than what any of our competitors were. And I just knew I could always drop it, right? And so I just took that same mentality and switched over to solar because like honestly, and this is a big thing for Hoff, like, you know, if you're getting told yes off the first close, you definitely could have sold it higher, right? Like how many times have we like sold a deal and we're like, shit, that thing could have been 2 extra.
And you walk out and you're like, I could have sold that much higher.
Like I left $3,000 on the table. That person was a lay down, you know? And it's just like, that's really like when you start thinking like that, you know, you can, because it's like you can sell half the deals and make the same amount of money if you're selling a high price per watt. Right. And so if you're doing volume plus high price per watt, I mean, that's how you make $1 million in a year selling solar. Right. And so, which is an easy thing to do. And so, yeah, I mean, this is really like exactly what we use. I don't know if there's something you want to add to that, Hoff, but
I always, whenever you do sell volume throughout a large scale of it, if you look at your numbers based on the price per watt averages over a large sample size, you're talking about the difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars from the guy that sells at a 2.9 price per watt compared to the guy that sells at a 3.3 over 100 deals. It is the difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so whenever it comes to a customer who's giving me a tough time about the price, I honestly am not afraid to walk away from the deal and understand it's not worth the money to hurt my averages because I care about getting my guys paid and getting them paid at the highest level. And instead of them making, you know, $1,000, $1,500 a sale, I'd rather sell, you know, getting them 3-4K stacks every single time. And it keeps, you know, your setters happy. They're taken care of. And honestly, I feel like the deals are clean. I really do, because whenever the people are nickel and diming you after the close, they're going to go shop for someone else. And it's like,
they're going to annoy you
inside that mindset.
They're going to annoy you to death, dude. That's the facts. But so like a big piece, I'm going to move on unless there's any questions on that. This book right here goes over like kind of like the general idea without getting like into the nitty gritty, because I feel like it's important to understand that first. And so it's like the book, The Irresistible Offer, How to Sell Your Product or Service in 3 seconds or less, from Mark Joyner. And so like the idea is, you know, if someone asks you to buy water for $100, like Carlos, if I said, hey, Carlos, here's a water bottle, it's $100, will you buy it? Probably going to say no.
Yeah,
right?
probably say no.
$100 water, you don't want it. If someone says, hey, here's a water for $100 and you're going to get free tickets to the movie, you're going to look at that, you're going to get movie tickets $40, water $3. I'm going to say no. Say, okay, water, free ticket to the movie, and a free trip to Dubai. What are you going to say?
I would say, yeah, man, because I know the tickets to Dubai are like super expensive.
Yeah, obviously, like this is an extreme, like, you know, hyperbole here, but like it's the general concept here. And I added it to the book club. We do a book club at Natural Energy for our sales guys, so that part is irrelevant at the bottom. I just didn't edit this, but that's the concept we want to go through here. Is basically taking them down irresistible offer cycles. You tell me no, well, I'm going to make the deal better now. And so that's really how we try to do this whole thing. Moving on. So Hoff, I'll let you run down this. This is like, so when we do our close, honestly, I believe that the close takes place in the positioning. And if you're preempting it properly, you have no problem. But if you're not preempting it properly, then you're going to be running into battles. It's going to be uphill battle versus a downhill battle. So I'll let you run over some of this, Hoffy.
Yeah. So one big thing that I've been training the guys on who are getting into the self-genning role and closing over here at Natural Energy is the positioning is everything. I feel that after the first 10, 15 minutes of the presentation, if you position it correctly as yourself as the professional, as like the luxury brand that we are, if you're able to frame that and get that across to the homeowner within the first 10, 15 minutes, the sale typically is a lay down. You're holding their hand down to the yes at that point, because there's obviously sales resistance whenever you first start. But once you break that barrier, it all comes into positioning. If you can break that barrier and assert yourself as a dominant professional with the right company, you are the right guy with the right company, you will hold their hand and walk them to the sale. So some of the stuff that like I do right away, as soon as I get into home, is I'm obviously asking for their bill. I'm breaking down price per kilowatt hour right in front of them, trying to break down a bill from the year before to show them the rate increase and doing the math with them so they understand, like, you're taking the time to reverse calculate the bill, show them something that they don't understand about. So they start to understand what the true value in solar is, which is not saving money. It's to lock in your current kilowatt rate for the remaining time in the house. And so right after that, I always will ask the homeowner, I'll be like, so did my guy who stopped by yesterday explain to you about who we are as a company? Have you done any research into us? And this is me teeing it up into my positioning. They're normally going to say, yeah, I did some research, or no, or whatever. And I'll go into my story. So a little bit about myself. And this is how we train our guys.
Let me ask you guys a question. Obviously, so how long has natural energy been around?
So we've been around since 2021, but, you know, we frame it in home, you know, hey, we've been around since 2007 because we're a subsidiary of Turnkey, or at least we started as that. And so, like, when you look at our BBB, it links to natural energy. And so we frame it off the BBB, and we literally show 07, we show these commercial projects, and we link back to natural energy through there. And so it's just like they would rather pay more to go with us from that point than with one of these companies that popped up last year, or even within the last like 4 years. You know what I mean? Because it's like, who are you going to trust when you're talking about a 30-year decision, 25-year decision, right?
And so something that I am making sure, like, whenever I get into a little bit about myself, the 3 things that you need to be building authority bias on are: 1, yourself as the sales professional, the energy consultant; 2, belief in the net metering program, that this is a legitimate program that's been going on for a long time.
Granted, you know, like in Arkansas and the Midwest, it's less like prominent. I know, like in Florida, it's not like really if it's, you know, in California, it's not if solar's good, it's more like who do I buy from for a lot of these people. In the Midwest, you have to really build like the idea of, you know, the industry is something that's been around for a while. It's a good thing, and you're not the first one to buy. People have been buying.
Yeah.
And so you're going to want to like tell your story on yourself personally, on net metering as a whole, and then on the company. And so I always like talk about my story from starting in Tampa, Florida, where I'll say Tampa, Florida is by far one of the most mature solar markets in the country, for the sole fact that, 1, the utility company is not heavily involved in the process whatsoever. Anybody can get panels all over the roof down there. And 2, it's kind of a free for all. Like, if there's a neighborhood like this with 100 homes, 70, 80 of them already have it. There is no secret about solar. And then I'll go into the fact that the Midwest is a very immature market in the fact that, 1, the utility company is heavily involved in the process. That's why I asked for your bill today, because the only way you get approved for this is by building yourself a system that 100% offsets your consumption and your consumption only. And then I'll go into my story about how I've been working with Parker since, and I'll be like, talking about our commercial construction background, that we have an engineering department that is very heavily involved in the process. What I mean by that, I'm preempting a site survey here by saying what I'm going to be doing today is doing a site survey on the property. What that entails is 360 imagery of the roof faces. I'll be taking pictures of your main panel, your service disconnect, your meter itself. But the most important part is the structural integrity of the home. More specifically, I'm looking at the structural trusses of the home. I send those pictures off to the engineering department. They are the gatekeepers to the project. They say yes or no who we take on the liability with. And keep in mind, Carlos, me and the engineering department aren't friends by any means, because if I sit down with 6 people, if I sit down with 6 people a day, 5 people sign up because it financially makes sense, but only 1 to 2 actually get installed. And because with us doing 20, 30, 40, $50 million commercial projects in the area, we are very strict with who we take on the liability with in solar. And the reason for that being is because we pride ourselves on actually taking care of our clients through and throughout. And the only way we can do that is by feeling extremely confident in the structural integrity of the property that we're installing on. Does that make sense? And that's getting them into the yes ladder from there.
So let's break this down, right? So you guys are doing this at the very beginning, while you're going through the bill, like in the discovery stage, or like at what stage of the?
All right. So you're getting into home, right? And you're immediately building rapport. You're trying to strike a similarity, or you're trying to strike some sort of passion for them, then question off that. You're going to transition into solar with some type of questioning, cycle to take control of the conversation to solar from rapport. So it's not awkward. Like, hey, okay, let's talk solar. Like, hey, how much research have you done into solar? Okay. Well, did the guy that stopped by tell you a little bit about the company? And now you're going to start this story cycle where you're building confidence on the company, you're building confidence on the industry, and then you're building, confidence on yourself. And so from there, you're going to like frame everything. And then at the very end of it, of course, you're going to give the agenda, like what you're actually about to go over, but this is all pre-pitch.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that.
Carlos, another thing
this word track, Ryan, that you just like said, I think everyone has to go back and like literally write it down, say it word for word.
Well, dude, because what you're doing with that is you're basically setting the intention and you're assuming the deal. You're assuming like everyone I talk to does this, and you're going to want to do this, but I don't know if I even want you. So now you're creating this hot chick you can't get effect. And so like, that's the idea, right? Like think about high school. You always want the hot chick you can't get. You don't want the hot chick everyone's getting, right? And so that's how we position this throughout the pitch.
So I can see what happens. You get towards the end, or even better, like beforehand, the customer goes, so how do we know if we qualify?
Right. And you pop the buying question.
People are asking me, oh, do you think my roof looks good? You're doing a site survey after. They're like, is it going to pass? Is it going to pass?
Yeah.
Dude, the guy,
in your opinion, do you think it's going to be all right?
Bro, like literally the guy I closed last night has been sending me pictures all day long of his house, roof? Hoping and praying it passes. I'm like, dude, you're good. I'm not telling him that. I'm like, yeah, I hope it's going to go.
You should just send him a message saying, hey, look, I don't think it's going to pass, but just cross your fingers.
Yeah. 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 And he's over here telling me, yeah, man, if it passes, I've got a lot of referrals for you. It's like, it's perfect.
And then Carlos, one thing I want to go over after the story base of yourself, net metering, and the company. And keep in mind, guys who are watching this, like, if you don't work for that company who actually does take care of their clients through and throughout, you can't go in there and act like we act. Like we honestly act almost on, not arrogant, but that we are an extremely luxury brand who isn't going to take on the liability with anyone. If you guys are looking for the cheapest option, by all means, I'm going to list off my competitors in the area. I've got a ton of references that you could go to if you're looking for the cheapest price. But for guys that are selling in low cost per kilowatt hour states, not the Floridas, not the Californias, not the big boys, like the A markets where people are paying 20 plus cents per kilowatt hour. After my authority bias in the company, Carlos, what I'm doing is I'm going to say like something along the lines of, one thing I want to be very clear about is this isn't Florida or California where people are paying 30, 40, 50 cents per kilowatt hour. So people in the Midwest, like, are not doing this to cut their bill in half day one. None of my clients are doing this to save 10, 20, 30 bucks a month. Not doing it for that whatsoever. That is not the case. The reason people are doing this is to own a power production asset. And more specifically, I like to call it a reverse cash flowing asset, because a cash flowing asset is going to pay you on a monthly basis. This is going to save you money on a monthly basis and on a compound escalating rate. So no one's doing it over 30, 40 bucks a month. The reason they're doing it is to reverse cash flow themselves 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 grand over time by owning their own power production asset. Does that make sense? And there's like, like it's like it's sparking their eyes that I'm not doing this for 20, 30 bucks a month either way. More expensive or cheaper.
Now I want to be really clear. Like,
so just so everyone gets like an idea as well, how much higher on top of the bill are you guys selling at?
Typically 1-to-1 bill swap.
We'll do a 1-to-1 bill swap. We'll go a little higher sometimes. I mean, typically we'll go like anywhere between $10 to $30 higher. If we if we can't get the commission rate we're wanting, we're gonna go higher before we go in there and sell it for $2.8. Like, that's a waste of everyone's time. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I would rather be told no than go make $200 a kilowatt personally. You know what I mean? Like that's just how I feel. And so. Yeah,
and we're doing a disservice to the customer as well by that's 9 deals for today, right?
It's 10. We got another one.
Just got
10. Damn. Yeah. That's like half a million day.
10 for a 15-man ain't bad in the off season.
Let's go, man. That's crazy. And that team that you've got out there right now, how many setters? How many closers?
We've got 4 closers. I guess like 11 setters,
14 setters. I think it's 18 too.
Oh yeah. I'm
18 total.
18 total. We got 4 closers.
14 setters, 4 closers.
Crazy. Now we're starting to get a bunch of guys and girls on this live. We just hit the at everyone. I actually realized the comments that I put up before, they don't show because I'm restricted. But I got Chad to do it. So Danny Pessy, my boy, he says, good stuff, boys. John Soderberg says, love new markets. Can't do this in Vegas. This reminds me of solar in 2016. I want to know your opinion. Do you think you can do this in harder states like Vegas?
Dude, we've done this in harder states.
Yeah.
Damn. There you
We've
go.
done this in Tampa.
Shift.
Yeah, we've done this in Tampa, bro.
Let's go. So, John, you need to be watching this live, man. You need to be writing down these tracks that these boys have got.
Right, and dude, this is the start of it. And one of these things too, I want to be clear on, the cash flowing asset pays you on a monthly basis. You have to be reading their body language when you're talking about the cash flowing asset and then reverse cash flowing asset. If they look super confused, you've got to be able to actually communicate with them and slow it down.
Yeah.
But another thing, and this is kind of I'm not going to get into the gas analogy or the anchor on the 10-year cost, because that's pitch specific and I'm not getting into that type of stuff right now. But obviously I could get into that if I was going that deep into it. But anyways, we'll move to the next one. This is basically the exact verbiage. I mean, Ryan pretty much went over this, so I'm going to skip through it to save time. That's cool with you, Carlos, because Ryan pretty much just gave that exact track.
Oh, okay, yeah, this is the luxury service track.
Yeah, I mean, someone could go back on the slide and screenshot it and read it or whatever. But this is the closed roadmap we basically use every single time.
Yeah, let's go through that, man. This looks super valuable, and I think if you pinch the screen, you'll be able to yeah, there you go, zoom
Perfect.
in.
Okay, so this top part is, I feel where a lot of presenters go to, and it's they can't go past the first no or two. And so what this really does is it's designed to at least empty the clip, right? And so obviously you're going to get in home, you're going to story-based sell, like what we just went over. You're going to give, yourself, the industry, and the company. You're going to give the agenda, and then we're going to give our standard roadmap, our standard pitch. We're going to end it with, do you want to qualify? And when we get to that point, they're either going to tell us, yes, that's just standard, sign them up. We probably could have priced it higher. Or they're going to tell us no. And so when they tell us no, that's when we're going to go into our first loop, which is if you guys read the book, Straight Line Selling from Jordan Belfort.
Yeah, Jordan Belfort.
Yeah, that's basically the idea, right? So do you like the idea of it? Anything you don't like, they're going to tell you what they don't like. You're going to roll the objection. You're going to build more value on the company or whatever it may be. And you're going to say, sound fair, right? You're going to ideally not price drop right here, because they're just in between making a decision or not typically. And it's not they don't need a better deal yet, or at least you don't know if they need a better deal yet. And so ideally we keep the PPW high here and don't drop it. Because guys will drop it too fast, and then it's whoa, how much lower can you go? And you don't want to really get to that point. So anyways, I guess I can run to the next part. And so this is I feel where it gets,
this is where right here, guys, obviously anybody can do this part right here. Anybody can go through and get one no and then try to roll the objection and throw out a second close. This is the difference between a guy who makes 6 figures a summer, and down here is where guys make multiple 6 figures a summer. We tell that to our guys all the time. There is a difference between presenters and closers. Closers empty the clip every single time. You got to go in there with the mindset.
They leave nothing on the table, right?
Leave nothing on the table.
They leave it all on the table.
And you have to be in the mentality to do that every single time, or else you're losing money left and right. I mean, I probably made $100,000 at least this summer off of this cycle right here alone. Not every sale's a laydown. Not everybody says, do you want to qualify? And then,
most people are not a laydown. I think what an amateur or a new rep confuses is the way that a master closer makes it look
like a laydown.
But it wasn't really a laydown, because you leave and you get in the car and you're like, oh my God, that was such a laydown. You're like, no, it wasn't. You just don't know all the different things I had to take that customer through to make them a laydown.
100%. And so after they tell, we build value, we say, does that sound fair? Let's get the ball rolling. Is that fair? Nah, man, I just can't do it today. Gotcha. And then I'm immediately going to give them some type of offer. I may price drop. I may give them something else. I don't necessarily know off the rip what I'm going to be giving them, but I'm going to be giving them something that fits their needs. And I'm going to listen to them throughout the appointment to like know, like, for example, one time I did a price drop literally straight into a smart thermostat. It's like a $200 freaking thermostat. And he's like, yes, I'm doing it. Immediate switch over. Like you literally,
they just want to feel like they're winning, right? Like
What's
they
up?
got the better end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then like what I'll typically do is, go into like the thesis close and then, do we have a deal? Right. And so after that scenario, it's going to be like, imagine they tell me no, I'm going to read the situation. And like, there's oftentimes people will be sitting at home, their husband and wife, and they're just like, we got to think about it. Right. And so like when the husband and wife are like, I have to think about it, I can't make a decision on spot. The most money thing that you can do right there. Yeah. I literally used it 2 days ago. Hoff used it yesterday, the walkout close, that piece right there. And so like
tell us about that, man. What's the walkout close?
So what you do is you basically say, they're getting to the point where you think they're on edge. They want to make the decision, but like they can't quite get over it. And the reason why typically is because it's not that comfortable to talk to some stranger about your personal finances, especially if someone maybe is in the best financial situation, right? And so what you do is you basically say, look, Kate, I've been doing this long enough to know once someone has all the information in front of them, it only takes 10 to 20 minutes to make an educated decision. But quite frankly, it's none of my personal business about your personal finances. I know my phone's been blowing up from my guys while I've been in the home here.
Dude,
I'm going to do you guys a favor. What's up?
I used to use the same thing, man. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I'm gonna do you guys a favor. I'm gonna step out of here and take these calls in my car. You guys let me know yes or no. Either way, no skin off my back. I don't care. Just let me know. And then you leave your shit on the table and you walk out. That way they're forced to come out to you. They can't just like not come out, right?
They can't just like lock you out.
Yeah. They're either a lay down at that point, or they're going to come back with buying questions, or they're going to come back with your iPad in your hand. If they have the iPad in the hand, that means they're telling you no. So
yeah,
that's really the.
And for the, I guess like the new sales reps that are wondering why does that actually work? In your opinion, why do you think that works? Like that strategy works?
It releases buying pressure. There's no, there's not buying pressure there. I'm literally telling you, I don't care if you do this. I don't have commission breath, like begging for the sale. And then it's like they can talk in private, right? Like they may have some like legitimate like financial choice they're trying to make, and they don't want to talk about it in front of a stranger. And so it just, I don't know. I mean, Hoff, what is your opinion on it?
My thoughts on it every single time are like, it's the easiest way to get a decision, like a yes or no. They're going to have to come back and tell you either yes, we're doing this, or no, this isn't for us. I know the setters get extremely upset whenever they're asking you, oh, what happened to the deal? Oh, they had to think about it. They're going to call us in a couple of days.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. They're not calling you. They're not calling you. So if it's husband, wife, and they are talking about it every single time, remove yourself from the situation. Act like the professional that your phone's been blowing up. Take a step outside. I had the guy come outside last night, come get me in the car, and he said, we have a deal. Let's do the damn thing. And it was a 10-minute conversation with him and the wife, and it happens every time. But keep in mind, this is not always the best place to go. I want to be very clear, because it can end the sale early.
Yeah.
It can end the sale early.
Just got a deal as well, boys. We just got a deal as well.
Okay, there you go.
Let's go, baby. Come on now.
There you go. But it can end the sale early, in my opinion. It's all about body language and reading the situation for me to actually be confident that that is what we should be going to. The next best thing to advance the sale forward, because our job as sales reps is to move the sale as far as we could possibly move it. Move the customer, get them out of the spot that they just told you no in, get them outside, take them to the meter, paint a picture of where their panels are going to be, where their combiner box is going to be. Do you guys like the idea of it? Like, and continuously keep the husband and wife involved, but move them from a different location. Because if they told you no,
change the environment.
Yeah, change the environment. You get different responses in different environments. And this is where you'll go into irresistible offer cycle number 2. And it's like,
the key to this irresistible offer cycle to actually work, though, is like when you give the second one, you gotta you don't want to make them feel like, oh, well, you could have given me this deal from the beginning. So you've got to create like this illusion of.
Let's just keep saying no and get more irresistible offers.
Yeah, like, and you'll know you did it wrong when customers like, you could give me a Ferrari, I'm not doing it today. And so like, that's when you did it wrong. But so like, what you want to do is kind of be like, geez, or like maybe like call your manager or fake call your manager, you know, like for example, like one of my guys right before he hopped on here called me like, Parker, man, this guy, he really wants this, but the price is too much for him. Is there any way we can remove the transportation fee? And I said, let me look. Geez, man, yeah, that's pretty far, but we have like 5 installs going up there. If he's willing to not tell the neighbors, and he literally can't tell the neighbors, I'll let it slide this time. And so it's like, I'm not just like saying, yeah, I'll drop it. I'm making in like pain and like giving a reason. I'm justifying dropping it, right?
Yeah.
And
And
so
you get
that's really,
them, you get the salesperson, they're doing it on loudspeaker, right? And you guys act as if like, you know, you don't know that he's with the customer, and
sometimes they don't pick up, and now you got to fake it, right?
Yeah.
So,
You gotta fake it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, straight up, man. And you got to turn the volume down so they don't hear the ring go to voicemail, you know? And so, you know, that goes on, but yeah. So anyways, after that, I typically go like straight to like just the sincere close. Like, would you give a local guy a shot to earn your business? Just because like at that point, I'm going to try to hit an emotional string because I've already gone through so much that it's kind of like my Hail Mary at that point. You told me no multiple times. It's getting pretty awkward in the home. And so I'm just going to try to fight emotion with emotion and get them on at that point right there. So
Love it. So we have a comment from Gabriel Colliday. He says, that's fire. So I'm guessing he's referring to the, if I could, would you close? And he asks, what's the thesis close?
So it's like, so basically what it is, I operate, so like there's a big thing with solar. I think like there's a trust factor to closing these deals. And so like, it's basically, you want to make like a no-brainer statement. It's like, look, if everything I'm saying here is true, you're actually going to be saving money like out the gate. I'm going to give you a smart thermostat for free. Do we have a deal? And so it's basically like, if everything I'm saying is true, so they're responding to your question under the idea that saving them money is true, then you're reminding them the offer you just gave them. So, you know, benefit 1, benefit 2, and then do we have a deal, or is that fair? Right now, if I use is that fair up here, I'm not going to close on the same close I used before, because then it's going to be like a sales robot. So I'm always going to rotate my closes, but it's basically, if everything I'm saying is true,
hot button.
Yeah, hot button, benefit. Do we have a deal? And then like, dude, stick your fucking hand out and just stare him in the eyes. And it's like, dude, there was a time me and Hoff were in home, and we literally, we tag teamed this dude like late night, same day. And it was like a 4.1 PPW. And like, it literally, we did that exact cycle, stuck our hand out, and the entire room busted out laughing. It was just so funny. Yeah. And I guess the guy's dad was like an engineer or something with solar. He's like, all right, man, can we play phone a friend? I got to call my dad. And came back and we closed the deal. So
dude, that's insane.
And dude, that was like way higher than his utility bill, like way higher. So yeah, it's good stuff. But
guys, this is, I'm loving this live. I don't think we've actually had a live where we've gone this deep into tactics. So this is going to be a live for the ages, man.
Oh yeah. All right, I guess I'll keep it pushing then. So this is kind of the offer cycles that we'll go through. So like, and like, sometimes it's different orders, right? Like, it just depends on the person. So like, just last night, the one I closed them because I knew they were military. They had it on their shirt, and like, to justify it, I used the military. So it wasn't my first one, it was my second one, right? And so I did a 0.2 PPW drop, and now they felt like they won the deal. And I had to do that because they got rejected on financing. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it was 78K and they only approved for 75. But first one I typically do is like, you know, I've done so much business locally and been with the company long enough, I can waive the transportation fee. If I could do that for you, do we have a deal? The second one, or I might use like military discount, friends and family discount. I truthfully don't prefer the friends and family discount because it can sound cheesy. I'll usually do that one like if it's like my brain's not working, I can't think. I'll use the military a lot though, like if it's in my disposal. Free energy. Oh, and when you do the military discount, you can ask them like, you have a card to proving it, and then like take a picture. It's super legit. They're like, oh shit, and they're like wanting to prove it to you, right?
Yeah, they pull out their wallet.
Yeah. Free energy efficient upgrade, like LED, smart thermostat. Now, granted, when I do that, guys, don't tell them you're going to save them 20% on their consumption. That's just a lie. And so like, don't change their consumption or don't change anything like that based on the smart thermostat or an LED. Like, you may save them a little bit, but like that, you're kind of teeter-tottering ethics there. Free tree trimming, free MPU, or the case may be, or first 3 months free, like offer to pay for their first 3 months of their utility bill or their solar bill, whatever the case may be. So yeah, how to justify a second offer. Let's see here. Yeah, just make it painful. Yeah, you just want to make it painful every single time. Like you want to make them like scratch your face, but call your boss, like whatever it may be. And then you can justify it at the end with like, with me doing this for you, like you have to do me a favor, give me a 5-star review. And like, that makes it like make sense that you're giving them a deal because now they have to do something in return for you.
Yeah.
And never tell the neighbors about the deal I'm giving you.
Yeah.
You're getting the best deal on the block.
The exclusive deal.
Make them feel really special. They get like extremely stoked about that. A lot of times customers will text you after the appointment, like, thank you so much. Like, I'll keep that to myself and then give you a referral off of that. But it's all in your tonality and body language, truthfully. It's not about what you say.
I like what you guys do because essentially and I saw this on a comment on like another post inside the group. It's essentially providing an asset so valuable, right? Whether it's like just the solar or solar combined with other things, that there's literally nothing to compare it to. So then you can never be price shopped. You're like in a market of one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think a really big thing with that too is that you have to have a construction company that actually has some like clout behind it, or else it's like they're gonna look you up and they're gonna be like,
yeah, it's like 1 year, 3 reviews. Like, this guy's asking me for 5-star reviews. He's only got 3.
yeah, that's not gonna work. But anyways, we can keep it going. So like this is like basically like the closed loops all used. So closed one is where like the presenters get stopped, right? So like power escalator. Straight into next steps. You want to qualify? They'll tell you no. You loop them. You like the idea. Anything you don't like, build value. Depending on the person, I'll do a risk reversal. Like, look, if you wake up tomorrow and you're like, I hate solar, it's the worst thing ever. Just give me a call, put a stop to it. But you have 3 days. Might as well get the ball rolling. Sound fair?
Get the momentum up and running.
I don't love doing that one unless it's like. But then I'll typically tell them if they sign up on that. I'll literally say while they're doing docs, like, look. If you're going to cancel tomorrow and you actually don't feel good about this, I would rather not waste my time going through these. And that way it like re-solidifies that 3-day cancel after they've said like they've got like that scary idea of saying, yeah, just go ahead and sign me up out of their head.
I like the risk reversal as well. And how my whole pitch is framing us on this luxury brand in the engineering department has 3 days to say yes or no to the liability of the project. So my verbiage on that is always like, keep in mind, we have 3 days on our end to say yes or no to the liability of the project. And standard contractual law, you guys have 3 business days on your end. So if you wake up and solar is the worst idea you've ever heard of, just give me a call. We can put a stop to it. But again, I don't even know if the engineering is going to accept the application to the company. But while I'm here, if you like the idea of everything, we may as well get the ball rolling. Does that sound fair? And you're right there too.
I love it, man. I love it.
So, I mean, from there, we're typically tossing the first irresistible offer out, whichever one fits the actual customer. Remember, I have 6. I'm going to pick whichever one fits them. And that's only going to come through listening. Then I'm going to give them a thesis close. They tell me no there. I'm either going to move them on close 4 or I'm going to walk out close. Either way, I'm leaving that seat at the table. I'm either going to be leaving that seat to go see something on their property to see if I can maybe do something for them, or maybe leaving that to give them freedom to make an educated decision and talk about it with their husband and wife. Then obviously, I may give them an irresistible offer cycle 2. I usually do here. I'm going to justify the shit out of it when I give them that second irresistible offer because I don't want to make them feel like, okay, he could have done this from the start. And I'm going to give them a sincere local guy close.
What's up, guys? It's Carlos here, and hope you guys are enjoying this podcast. Really quickly wanted to jump in here and say that over the last year or so, I've helped hundreds of door-to-door guys, salespeople transition into remote solar sales. Now, the number one problem that I found is the amount of capital that is required for someone who is in door-to-door or a salesperson to need to invest to be able to move into the remote sales world. What are those capital-intensive things? The first thing is you need a dialer. Second is you need a CRM. Third is you need the leads. The leads alone are going to cost you at best $1 each. Most expensive ones can be anywhere from $5 to $10, and if you're generating Facebook leads, these could be up to $40, $50, even $60 a pop. So it can get pretty expensive to set up your own operation. If you then want to build a team, you then need to hire people, you need to have build a culture, you need to start building a community. So everything stacks up in terms of time, in terms of money. So what we've done to solve that problem is we've created a team, and this is an internal team called Remote Sales Pro. This is a team that you can apply to join, and what we do is we handle everything. So we give you the dialer, we give you the CRM, we give you a team of experts and managers that will help you close the deals as well. We even include up to 350,000 leads that we preload into the dialer. So all you need to do is apply. If you're chosen, you just go through a quick training course, and then from day 3, you're dialing and you're making sales. So if you're interested in learning more about the Remote Sales Pro team, all you need to do is go click on the link below. It's remotesalespro.org/apply. Fill in your details, register for the next webinar, which happens every single Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern. Attend the webinar. We'll tell you all about the opportunity. We'll tell you how you can apply, and we're really, really excited to see you there. So guys, continue watching the podcast. Super excited to continue creating content for you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Let's roll. So I can see the difference between companies that never really get off the ground, right? They don't really exceed, 10 or more deals a month with like triple the amount of team members that you guys have. It's because you guys have it's a process, it's a system, and it can very, very easily be replicated. If someone puts in the work and they trains, especially with the workflow. Like, I don't know if you realize, Parker, but that the workflow, it's advanced. Like most companies don't do things like that. They have a few word tracks, a few steps, but putting a workflow in like a visually like that, it makes a world of a difference, especially when we're training up. Like, how old are your team members, like, typically?
20, 21. Yeah, some are like 25. Like, I think 25 might be the oldest person we have.
Yeah. And look, the generation after me, because I'm a little older, right? And I'll put myself in that bucket as well. Like, we get distracted. There's so much going on that, unless something's put in a way where we are able to learn it, pick it up really easily, there's no chance for us to win. So this is why you guys are winning, man, because you're putting these processes in really simple, very easy steps that you can follow.
Yeah, I mean, we try to, it's the more simple we can make it, the better. And it's like, we don't just have PowerPoints, right? Like, we have a full manual, not just for the set, but for the close, and it breaks down these topics in deeper detail. And I think that's a big thing. We have the manual, so it's like the source of truth almost for the reps that work here, and then we're constantly training off of it, training off the topics of this 30 chapter manual. And so for managers, it's easy because whenever you want to give a training, it's like, dude, pop the manual open, pick something, build a PowerPoint off it, and then give your truth off that, right? And so it's it helps the management build their trainings. It helps just the new reps come in and learn the trainings. And it keeps pretty much everyone on the same page. So you don't have 8 different pitches going around. Now everyone's confused and they're trying to pop things that don't belong in certain parts of the pitch. So it creates a very clear roadmap. So, yeah.
And Carlos, I think right here, mastering the positioning and the closing loops after getting told no is the difference between a guy that closes 20% and a guy that closes 70+%.
Go back and say that one more time, man. Just for those who weren't paying attention.
The positioning at the beginning of the sale, and then after getting told no, the cycles that you take people down, it really does dictate if you're a 20-25% close rate guy or a 70+. Real professionals are 70+, and that's honestly what we're trying to get all of our guys to. That's why we pay so much attention to detail to the beginning of the script, which is the positioning, and then the closing cycles at the end, because anybody can sit there and read the standard script in the middle. There's a different individual who can get it done after getting told no multiple times and still signing the loan. And then there's another step to it, which is installing. Because a lot of people can sign
making sure
it. A lot
it
of
gets
people can sign it, but there's another level to be installing these deals as well.
Yeah. And I think that's like a big thing, like from the numbers I've been tracking, because I've been tracking like the reps, like I'm training them, so I know where they're at in the pitch. And it's like what I've seen is like the reps who can do the standard pitch, they kind of suck at rapport. They're not horrible, and they kind of have bad positioning, but they can just get that standard pitch. They're going to close like 1 in 6, 1 in 7. They get really good positioning coupled with a standard pitch. Like now they're framing us as a luxury thing, and like you're getting the customer to close before it even starts. Because by the way, we close before it starts off the design. So if you're positioning it properly there, then you can get your close rate down to like 1 in 4. When you get your positioning, you get your standard, frequently asked questions, and you get each closing loop you get, like you can get all 4 of them. Like that's like, you're going to be like 70, 80%, even like regardless of what the day one savings are.
Yeah, dude, this is nuts. We may need to pull down this live and then charge for it.
Yeah,
Jokes, guys. We're doing this for free, guys. This is free value for the group.
Yeah.
Boys.
Let's see. Okay, here's I guess the next piece we can run over if it's not too long of a live. Right now we're going over like literally everything in detail. So how to build value after you get told no. I think this is like a really weird, it can be weird for new reps because they're not like necessarily comfortable doing it right out the gate. And so like the first thing I'm always gonna do is like, if you get told no and your body language, like you look rattled, like physically, you lost the deal. You can give the perfect script with the perfect tone, but if you look rattled, you're done. Like it's over. First and foremost, you have to have good body language when you start the loop. The first thing I'm going to say is like, hey, you like the idea of everything. And so I think like a very challenging thing on the loop, truthfully, is like not talking, right? It's like salesmen, they always want to talk and explain why they're so good at and why they should buy. But the reality is this is a product that just makes sense. And so if you can just shut your mouth, you like the idea of everything, and let them talk, and then when you think they're done, bite your tongue for an extra second or two and let them keep talking, that's when they start talking themselves into it. And then you say like anything you don't like once they're finally done. And if there is an objection, you roll it. If there's not one, you build value. And so like the script I use to build value is basically like, and the reality is like here in Arkansas, 3 years ago, you didn't have the option to own your power. Like you just get stuck with who you get and you can't throw a fit. Even though there are cheaper utility companies out here, you literally have to use Ozark Electric. You can't go use Carroll even if you want to save $50 a month because they're a monopoly and they own you. And right now you're creating the cardinal sin of finance, which is renting when you could be owning. And so this is really the first time it's even been possible for anyone in Arkansas to own their own power, not pay the monopoly forever increasing bills, and actually have a drop dead date to own their power. But I mean, look, John, like if at the end, like tonight, if you go to sleep and you wake up in a panic in the night, you're like, I hate solar. It's the worst thing ever. I don't want to do this. Just give me a call. We'll put a stop to it. But then today, our engineering department has 3 days to approve or deny this. We don't even know if you can do this yet. So if it sounds good, we might as well get the ball rolling. Is that fair? And that's going to be like the exact role.
Let's do it. And you sound like a pro as well. Like you sound like you've said that. And I know you have said it a million times, but the idea is to get your new reps to just practice it so much, like their lips are bleeding. So they sound like they've done it a million times,
Yeah, exactly. And so like the bottom of this actually is Hoff's exact verbiage. So I'll let him run that. I use a little bit different verbiage.
If I say, do you like the idea of everything? And they say, yeah, like I love it. Well, is there anything you don't like about it? Like, no. It typically can be a price issue with the price per watts that we're handing out there. Some people have maybe sat down with someone and got a way cheaper quote and they just don't want to tell you. And so something I'll say is I've been doing this long enough to know solar is one of those things that you get what you pay for. We are certainly not the cheapest option by any means. We are a fair local company who does quality work. There are 3 ways to do this. There's cheap, fair, and overpriced. If you are worried about the $35 per month, you're probably not for us as a client, to be honest. I can certainly give you recommendations of companies to go with who do cheaper quality work, such as X, Y, and Z, name the competitors, or you can go with the most expensive route, such as a Shine Solar, who's like the most expensive in our area, who I come behind in all the time, quoting 10 to 15K less than. But I know this for a fact. We are fair on price and people are willing to pay a premium for our services because we're a company that is a construction company first, who's been in business for 16 years. So we can actually uphold our warranties and take care of our clients through in and throughout. And we are not like these other companies. We are certain you will be a satisfied customer for life. And if you believe we are that fair local company at a good standard rate, we may as well get the ball rolling. Is that fair? And like,
dude, Ryan Hoff dropping bombs, man. Let's go.
I'm really not afraid to tell someone, like, if you're worried about $35 a month, like, you aren't for us as a client, because all my clients understand that this is a luxury power production asset that it does cost money to own, because the real value is never been in solar saving money day one. That's never happened before net metering. Everyone was shelling a ton of money out of pocket and waiting for a return on investment. But now the opportunity, if you do qualify, is to get a no money out of pocket redirection program that reverse cash flows yourself 6 figures. But the hard part is qualifying, and I don't know if you do that yet, but we may as well get the ball rolling today and continuously close them off, building value. And I promise you, Carlos, it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it and what energy.
The conviction behind what you're saying.
It's the conviction behind it that wins you the deal.
And that goes back to mentality, like not being scared to lose it. Like if you're scared to lose it, you can't possibly portray that confidence and that like tonality and that demeanor across to the homeowner in that moment when you like literally have to. Right. And so I think that's really, really, really important. Like, dude, there's a time like this summer when like Hoff got stipped in home, like a stipulation from the bank, and he called me to like try to get it moving. And, you know, after he called me laughing, he's like, dude, like I literally stood up in there because the wife was being rude to me, saying we were overpriced. I told her, you're not for me. I don't want you. And the husband came back and saying, Ryan, we don't want to lose you, man. And like,
I was packing my bags up and I was like, honestly, guys, if you're going to try to tell me how to do my job, like you may not be worth the money. I only work with clients who actually understand the value of this. So I'm going to do you guys a favor and pack my stuff up and get out of here. Started packing my bags up, was walking out, and they're like, Ryan, we don't want to lose you. Please sit back down. Go and close them. After we just got into it and I was walking out.
I think Ryan walks around with 4 testicles, man.
Yeah, dude, that's some balls.
I'm
probably going to get banned off Facebook. I got to control my language there.
Yeah, we got to.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a swagger that you have to carry about yourself to go and price people at the prices we want to charge and get away with it. You do have to be that guy. And if you're not working for the company that can actually take care of the clients through and throughout, don't even try this. It won't work because you're going to get slapped. You're going to get a bad reputation at some point, and it's going to bite you in the butt. But whenever you do have an actual installation team that does PTO jobs in 45 days, you can talk your talk in there. You can talk your talk.
Yeah, because you know all the other clients and like all the other competitors this person could really go to are probably not going to do what we're going to do. And if they are, like you got lucky, you picked the 1 out of 99 that's going to do what we're going to do for you. And so like if you can carry that and like have confidence, and like that's like the general thing people say in selling, right? It's like believing in your product. But I think like the biggest thing is like we all believe in the product, right? We're in solar. You believe in the company you're actually selling for. And if you do, you can get this across with a lot of like the tonality and the conviction that you really need in order to like sell them on that. Cause that's what they're buying. Like they're like, you can use this, say it like very like dull and like, they're not going to care. You know, that's just the truth.
Do you guys spend a lot of, do you have a lot of testimonials? Like, do you show like before and after bills or like,
we'll show that in the script, right? So like we have our entire script positioned to first roll all the main objections. We explain net metering, then reverse show bills that are tied to reviews. And the bill we show is actually from a guy that we're building a $30 million community school of the arts for right now. And so then we reverse that 0 bill into a commercial construction authority bias. And so, that's definitely going on. And then we're like showing them how the net metering bills like work in real time.
I feel like once you break down that bill in front of them, whenever you're describing net metering to someone who doesn't really know a ton about the program, once you break down the bill, it clicks for that. And they're like, oh, so this is what my bill is going to look like. And the whole time the verbiage is, this is what it's going to be for you. Like we are doing this. And there's no uncertainty in my tonality. There's no uncertainty in my verbiage. I am telling the person what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and what it's going to look like for them.
Love it.
Monty, why? I don't know how many more I have. Hopefully we can do this kind of quick. So long. Sorry, it's so detailed.
Yeah, we don't.
Maybe it's good.
This is great, man. This is great.
Yeah. We've pretty much been over this. I mean, we've said it like 4 times. So whoever wants to go through the live and actually grab it. Yeah, selling deals that stick. That's like not really high PPW. And this is the homework I gave my team to like actually like get this stuff down. And like it's like when I'm training, I'm a big believer in like you've got to give people homework, because like you can hear it here, but if you're not actually going and then applying it in your own time, and then like not just applying it but like perfecting it, like there's a difference in training to get it right and training to not get it wrong. And so it's like that is a really, really big piece. So like if you're trying to use any of this that we've went over in this live, and you're not actually going to take the time to study the PowerPoint, create your main 2 offers you're typically going to go to, role play your story. And when I say role play your story, I don't mean like say it like once or twice. Like you need to say it and then do it 5 times perfect. And then if you mess up on number 4, restart on number 1, because you don't know it well enough to not mess up at home when money's on the line. And then you just keep on role playing your first time building value after getting told no, do that 5 times in a row perfect. And of course, like the bottom stuff is more like for my team, making sure they didn't sell like sloppy deals with like practicing install docs and like financing paperwork, stuff like that. So,
and Carlos, something I want to talk about just for everyone out there, like something Parker's really instilled into our company and this organization is that you don't rise to your expectations. You fall to the level of preparation and how much you've actually prepared. And so if you can't take the time to go break down the cycles, break down your story and write it out for yourself, and practice it until you can't get it wrong, you're going to mess up in home. You have to take the time and rise to the level of preparation that you've actually prepared for it.
Yeah, that's so true, man. There's another variation of that, which is the team will rise to the level of the leader, but fall to the level of the systems. So I can see that there is very, very strong leadership at Natural, but if the systems weren't in place, the processes, you guys wouldn't be where you are today.
Yeah, and I think a big thing though with that, and this is something like in general, it's like one of the guys that's mentoring me personally, his name's Walter Smiley, super like crazy successful guy. He sold a company that's known today as Verizon. And he told me, like, and I guess where I'm going with this, it's important to constantly like improve your system for the company too. I'll never forget, he told me, he said, bad systems will break every 2 to 3 years. A great system will only last 10 years. And so it's like, you think you can build a system today and it will work forever. This is a constantly changing market, And so like, that is like super important as well. Like you have to be able to stay up to date with it. I personally haven't been on calendar this year. I've closed over 50 jobs because I'm staying up to date with the market so I can train my sales team, even though my primary job is operations.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important to lead from the front, man. So I'm so impressed with this live. Like this has been like absolute fire. And whoever didn't watch this live, you guys freaking missed out on the live energy. But the good news is it's going to be on the Facebook group pretty much forever. We're going to turn this into a YouTube video as well for the podcast. And watch it, guys. Watch this on YouTube. Like if you're listening to this on Spotify, you'll get like half of what the message. But if you guys watch this, go to YouTube, you'll see all the slides as well. Guys, this has been an incredible live. I'm really excited for the next one as well. Real quick before we finish, how do people find you on social media, Parker and Ryan?
I'm really mainly on Instagram. I really don't hop on Facebook much. I literally had trouble finding the Facebook group because I'm never on Facebook. So
you didn't have Facebook, man. It was like 3 years out of date.
Yeah, Carlos was like, "What are you doing, man?" But I think Parker A. Dixon, I think, is my Instagram, and then Ryan's is like,
mine's R_Hoff 32. Yeah, I don't use anything but Instagram. You can find me on there if you have any questions. I'd love to connect. Just shoot me a message. We're always open to talk.
Love it, guys. Now we've dropped a comment onto I've got my business partner Chad dropping comments on the live because I can't comment on the lives at the moment. But guys, if you want to use natural energy in any of this, like Arkansas, Missouri, did you say Oklahoma as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oklahoma. Yeah. Is it those 3 states that you guys install in, or is there more?
Yeah, no, 3 states as of now. We aren't trying to grow at 1,000% year over year. That's a fast way to how to make a sloppy operation and not get people paid. So those are the 3 states we operate in. I do want to be clear, like, we don't just accept anyone to sell with us. Like, you've got to have good ethics. We're not going to be dealing with 30 deals. We're not going to be dealing with pissed off customers because you decided to lie just to make a quick commission check. So this isn't like this isn't exactly an open invite, but it's like, hey, if you guys want to see if this would be a good fit both ways, then we can see. But yeah, we're very particular with who we work with.
You've got 3 days.
You got 3 days, and if you can't, yeah. We're gonna have
nah, but for real, like that's what I respect about you, man, because you know you're not like a company that just wants to take everyone on and grow as quick as possible and put everything at risk. You know, you're very particular with who actually comes on board as through the dealer program, but also onto your sales team. So guys, if you're interested, go to salestalkwithsolarpros.com/NES. There is a form on that site, on that page. Fill it in. There are some questions, and Parker's actually going to get a copy of that, and he'll reach out. And if you guys are fit, then you know, you guys, there'll be some great future to work together. But Ryan, dude, you've been incredible, man. Thanks a lot for bringing the fire on, brother. I know you guys are super tired after like a huge day of knocking, but you guys brought the energy to this live.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you having us on, man. It's been fun.
Love it. And yeah, so everyone who's watching, if you guys have questions, any comments, drop them into the comments of this live. We will see them. We will respond personally, and we'll see you on the next live. Thanks again for watching. See you guys later.